How do you start a podcast? What do you say? I can't even hear you guys now. Why is this happening now?
I fucking muted myself.
This is the start of the podcast. I'm leaving this in. I went to.
That's so funny.
This was the cold start.
Hi, welcome. Welcome to
the
my stumbling podcast.
Weeks of obsessing have led up to this moment. I guess a week of obsessing.
I have 2 weeks, kind of.
This is where it all begins.
So we're gonna just leave this episode out of our Spotify library, right? Once we episode 50.
Yeah, like
we'll just start
this is a rough pilot.
Yeah,
we've got good material, I promise.
The first 5 episodes are for our listening pleasure only, and those get released after 2 years.
You can find those on our Patreon.
When we actually make it to the big leagues and we're hosted on the Joe Rogan show, we'll see who's laughing then.
That's podcastception. It's a podcast within a podcast.
Podception.
Yes. Podception. Love it.
So I guess we're gonna just talk about ourselves for a little bit before we dive into anything substantial.
So who are we?
We are Tyler, Josh, and Nick. We're just a couple of dudes.
Titans, but that's okay.
A Teen Titans. A couple of dudes with a podcast. I guess I'll go first. I don't know, man. I'm Tyler. What do you talk about?
Hi, Tyler.
Tyler, what do you do for a living?
Okay. What do I do? My job title is general labor. That's what I do.
General labor. So basically, you mop floors. All right.
I mop floors. No, I work in a soybean extraction plant, so I make soybean oil and soybean meal. Real exciting stuff. You could call me an essential worker. You know, I got that status, so that's pretty cool. I do a whole lot of nothing at my day job, though. I just kind of sweep the floors and make sure everything's running as it's supposed to. It's where I spend most of my time and have the least amount of fun. Other than that, we just play video games together, and I be a dad on the side sometimes.
Wow, you're a dad?
That I would qualify the dad thing as more of a hobby.
Hobby.
Less of a title.
Hobby, yes. Soybean extractor by day, hobbyist at night.
Hobbyist at night. I guess it's the other way around. I work nights, so soybean extraction by night, yeah. Hobbyist dad by day.
You're opposite bat dad.
Yeah, man. Short of being a dad and playing games, we don't really do much else besides work.
Talk a lot,
yeah. We're good at that.
We send a lot of fucking TikToks through Facebook Messenger. It's actually unhealthy.
I think I have an addiction to TikTok.
Tyler is actually the guy who sends entirely too many fucking TikToks through Facebook Messenger.
I spend my entire workday sending TikToks. Yeah. So the entire time you guys are asleep. You get 45 TikToks.
All right.
Good morning,
Tyler,
sunshine.
Tyler, your story is fascinating, my friend. Joshua, please take the stage, man.
Hey, yo, it's my turn. So, hello, everybody. My name is Josh, and I am the only one out of the 3 of us that no longer lives in the heartland of the United States of America, also known as Ohio. I moved down south, and the only way I stay in touch with these 2 fuckers is by playing video games every weekend. So we play video games pretty much every weekend for the last 2 years. Very rarely missing those, and most of the time it's me because I'm late, and I get voluntold to go do other things that I get told to do. My 9 to 5, I am actually an insurance sales advisor, which is really funny because I mitigate and assess risk. But
you work for Satan.
Yeah, basically, I do. So I do that on during the week, and then weekends I play some paintball, and I play video games.
Don't forget the golf, Josh.
Yep,
Golf.
I just recently started picking up golf. Went to Top Golf, hit myself in the fucking face with that putter.
Yes, boy.
Bad boy. uh, and so, yes, now a little bit back about my background. I grew up with Tyler. We made some really great mistakes through our young adult life. Tons of stories that we will get to eventually, I promise. And these are stories that make you so uncomfortable that you probably won't even come back. So it's really okay.
High quality cringe content.
Oh gosh, yes.
I
met Nick.
question everything I know about you too. So.
I met Nick through Tyler, and basically one day he just showed up in our pregame lobby, and he's been here ever since. Accepted him into the pack, and now it's the three of us instead of the two of us. Over the last 2 years, we've logged on and gamed every weekend. Pretty much, I'm the only person that calls out, and it is what it is. Yeah, let's get to the last part. So, starting a podcast with us was pretty easy, pretty easy of an idea to turn into since we are always here, pretty much every week, talking to each other every weekend. So, as you can pretty much tell, I cuss like a sailor, and I will die on the hill that I create out of my opinions. So I hope you enjoy the show as much as I do, and yeah. Welcome to the first one. Sorry it's so bad. Here's Nikolai.
All right, guys. So I'm basically the boomer of the group. I'm almost 30, 29 now. Married, been with the same woman for 13 years, and we are about to have our second son together, so that's exciting. Any week now. And outside of that, being a husband and a father, I work in the medical marijuana basically medical cannabis industry, if you will, if we want to use proper terminology, not use the M word. But no, it's always been a dream of mine to be a part of that industry, and it's something that I take a lot of pride in. It's a hard thing to get into, so it's a lot of fun. It's very interesting. Anyone who obviously is 420 friendly is friendly with me. So beyond that, I like long walks on the beach, little sunset here and there. I actually golf on the opposite spectrum of Josh. I disc golf once in a while, which is a good time.
Hey, I just started doing that. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, no, you're good, man.
It's a lot of fun.
To talk. We're here. Yeah, it's a good time. I 10 out of 10 recommend always taking water because I have been trapped in the middle of the woods on hole 18 on a 27-hole course, high as fuck on edibles and having nothing to wash it down with but Pabst Blue Ribbon. So 10 out of 10, don't recommend that. Otherwise, as long as you got water, that's the key, man. Stay hydrated while you're out there. Don't fuck around with fucking edibles and beer unless you bring water. So that's my advice for your entire lives.
Perfect.
Really, that's it, man. That's all I got.
Proud of you.
Welcome.
Hydrate or dihydrate.
Welcome. We're gonna remind you to hydrate every week.
I think we should throw this in there just real quick. If you have not given us a look on our Facebook page, it's the TJNN Show podcast. If you like what we're doing, go ahead and give us a like over there, and go ahead and read our very first post that we made. It kind of lays out the formula of what we're about. And we're just going to say it in this episode since, this episode is probably getting scrubbed anyways. So we'll talk about this again in the future. But we are a 18 plus podcast. We talk about filthy fucking things on this podcast. And we're going to do funny shit too. But we're going to offend some fucking people. So if you're like woke or like part of cancel culture, go ahead and fuck off. We don't want you
Fuck
here.
off, Tyler.
Right. Yeah. So Tyler, get the fuck off the podcast and shoo.
You no longer
certified most woke.
You said
other than that,
woke.
really, everyone's fucking welcome. Just don't be that guy. That's all I'm asking. Don't be a Karen.
You're not that guy, boy.
You're not that guy. You're not the guy who knocks on my door. All right. So let's fucking jump in, guys. Let's dig in. That's our motto. TJNN. Let's dig in.
Cool, great. So I guess I'll go ahead and start.
Well, what are we starting with? Are we doing? We gonna jump in with the main topic of the evening?
Yeah,
I would love to.
Let's Unless you guys want to do an icebreaker first.
Knock, knock. No,
Who's
I'm
there?
just kidding.
Tell me who's there.
Oh, no. So tonight's main topic,
Perfect.
we're going to be kicking it off with the good old Mandela effect. And I think pretty much anyone who is worth their salt has at least heard about it. And if they haven't, they need to crawl back under their rock. So we all brought some material here tonight, I do believe. So whoever wants to kick it off first, I'm more than welcome to. Otherwise, speak now or forever hold your peace.
So I can go ahead and just start. I got the actual definition of the Mandela effect if we want to go ahead and share that. So the Mandela effect is when a person believes that their distorted memories are in fact accurate recollections. They can clearly remember events that happened differently or events that never occurred at all. These memories are 100% factual and are not lies or statements of deception. So basically, just to go on that, these are actual things that these people 100% with all their being believe that happened. And in reality, or those factual pieces that we can find evidence of, they're wrong. So this is something that is very something that can really shake you down to your core, based off of the facts of that you can find off of your personal experiences. And I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to Nick and let him start off with a good old explanation and
I love that. I'd love to.
experience.
So Mandela effect. Maybe you have experienced it before. We've got a pretty comprehensive list of some pretty good examples. First one to kick it off, Jif peanut butter. If you've ever maybe confused Jif peanut butter with Jiffy, maybe you remember, it being called Jiffy. This has actually been proven by some people to be kind of like a misconception. There is also Skippy peanut butter, so some people's minds might just be combining the two, smashing them together to make Skippy and Jif one word, Jiffy. Another probably one a lot of people know is Looney Tunes. So we got Looney Tunes spelled Toons like tunes, and then you have the Looney Tunes like Tunes like actual harmony, like music note tunes. That is the version that we are all very familiar with, but a lot of people will probably take it to their grave that they remember seeing the logo saying tunes. So I don't know if you guys are even old enough to maybe have experienced that before. I don't know, Tyler, have you ever seen Looney Tunes and remembered it being Toons versus Tun?
I do remember it being Toons as like cartoon. I think even there was like a spinoff where they were like all children. That one, I think that one was also Toons.
Baby Tunes.
Because we used to watch. It was on Boomerang when I watched it, but we used to watch like Boomerang all the time, and that's how I remember it. I was gonna ask you guys the same question, but how do you two remember it?
Same. Honestly, that one resonated within me because that's like part of your childhood. Like most people our age have at least been exposed to that.
Are you telling me that it's Tunes?
That is the official way. Like if you Google Looney Tunes right now, it's
no
gonna come
way.
up Tunes.
It's wrong.
No way. That is so wrong. There's no way.
No, yeah. So that's like one of the biggest that's like one of the trippiest ones. And I mean the list goes on here. We're not gonna spend too much time on each one because we got a lot to get to.
I have another one.
Go ahead and add. Yeah.
This one really got me because when I was doing some research, I found this and it jarred the memory for me. Okay, so it's an old James Bond movie. I want to say it's Moonraker, right?
Yeah.
One of the villains, his thing is he has like these big metal jaws. I think his name is Jaws. It's like that's his thing, the big metal mouth, right?
Right.
How original.
And at the end of the movie, he like turns good because he falls in love with this girl. And the whole thing is the girl has braces, so like she is the same. Like that's like why they're together. That's the whole the joke, the plot, whatever you want to call it, is she has braces and he has this metal mouth. But apparently, if you go back and watch it now, like at the end, when they get together, they both smile at the camera, and apparently she doesn't have braces. And to me, if she doesn't have braces, the whole fucking little subplot thing doesn't work.
I've never seen that movie, and I've never heard of that one.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't identify with that one.
See, I used to watch a bunch of the old James Bond movies.
Yeah,
Well,
you're
here's
too
one-
young for that, buddy.
Here's one that everyone might know. So, Fruit of the Loom. All right. So we got the
Yes.
Fruit of the Loom logo. And Josh, I don't know. Are you able to?
I
doesn't
can.
matter. We're not posting videos, so
true,
it doesn't
you're
fucking
right.
matter. Not yet, at least. Doesn't matter. So, if you're in front of your phone or laptop right now and you're able to Google it, lovely audience, Google Mandela effect Fruit of the Loom, and so we have one logo, and you guys can do this too, just so you guys can visually reference it for yourselves. You have one logo which is just like the fruit, but then there's another logo with I think it's called a
Cornucopia.
cornucopia, yeah. So there's a cornucopia behind it. I personally remember that fucking cornucopia being there all the
Yes,
fucking
yes.
time, and now
Yes,
it's
it
not
was
there.
there.
It's magically not there. What the fuck's going on?
No, it was
with that?
definitely there.
It was always there, right?
Yes. It had,
Yeah.
yes.
Well, apparently it wasn't. That's the that's another big one where people are like, WTF, bro.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have one that's kind of like devil's advocate. Maybe, I don't know how to describe it. Have you heard of any geological Mandela effects? Did
Yeah,
you look
we're
at any of
actually
those?
we're gonna get to that. We're gonna
Okay,
get to
okay.
that.
I'll wait. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we're only gonna do like pop culture brands and shit. Obviously, everyone knows the Bearstein Bears. That's probably the biggest one we know. I don't want to spend any time on that. There's Bearstein versus Bearstain. Okay, everyone knows that one. One that kind of blew, movie quotes is another one. So everyone knows this one. Luke, I am your father, right? Apparently, the actual line in the movie is just I am your father. There is no Luke preceding that.
I feel like I saw an interview where the actor that played Darth Vader even was like, I remember saying,
Luke,
Yeah.
I am your father. I'll have to see if I can find that and put it on the Facebook page.
Yeah, so we're gonna hey, I got a question for you too, and this is a serious question. We all know who Neil Armstrong is, right? From the moon landing. Whether you believe in that or not, go fuck yourself. So Neil Armstrong, all right, let's start it this way. Do you think he's alive today? Do you know if he's alive today?
I feel like
I'm not gonna lie, I get
not.
Lance and Neil mixed up all the time.
Oh, fuck Lance. He has no testicles. I'm talking about the dude who landed on the fucking moon. Do you think he's alive? Do you remember him dying or being alive?
I do not remember him dying.
I do not remember him dying.
Okay, you think you would remember that? Do you think?
Yeah.
Do you feel like you remember him dying?
Yeah.
This motherfucker has been dead since September of 2012, and I, for the life of me, cannot fucking remember ever hearing about that.
See, I remember hearing about when John Glenn died, and he was like a lesser astronaut. So, like, I feel like I would remember that.
You're so right.
Well, so this brings me to a very, very critical point, and this whole segment is the year 2012, right? Okay.
Oh.
So this is where shit gets deep, and this is where we're gonna hit some landmark stuff, and we're also gonna get into some kind of like timeline shit. So there is a theory on the internet that you can research very easily now because of how popular it has gotten. But up until a few years ago, it was very hard to research this on the internet because it just simply wasn't there until people started talking about it, obviously. So what we've got here is there is a theory that the world ended in 2012, and it was by the hands of a facility known as CERN. CERN is a European research machine. It's actually the European Council for Nuclear Research, is what that translates roughly into in English. But so CERN discovered what's known as the God particle in 2012, which is also called Higgs. I think it's pronounced Higgs boson. And Stephen Hawking actually predicted that this molecule was capable of destroying the entire universe, at least as we know it. And there's a little bit of a theory that the CERN machine, so just a little bit of background on the CERN machine, it is a particle accelerator. It is capable of accelerating, microscopic particles beyond the speed of light. which has made a lot of conspiracy theorists freak the fuck out, saying they're going to create a black hole. They're going to do they're going to warp us into another dimension, something crazy like that, And obviously, everyone that works for them has come out with the Kool-Aid explanations of, if we could do that, you guys would obviously know about it because, it would have happened. So basically what we've got here is there's theories saying that in 2012, when they discovered that particle, they somehow shifted our consciousness either into another universe or shifted our consciousness into a simulation, because a lot of people nowadays just feel like things haven't been the same or felt the same or felt correct since 2012. And I can kind of identify with that, because since 2012, a lot of shit has happened, right, in the world and with politics and stuff that we're not going to get into tonight, but just stuff that usually occurs over decades of time feels like it's been really compressed into a very small time frame, and it's a little overwhelming at times for some people.
If I can bring up something really quick.
Yeah, sure.
The craziest video I've probably ever seen in my entire life, I witnessed about 2 weeks ago, and it was a time lapse of a satellite that went over the planet Earth over the last 30 years. Do you know how much we've destroyed the planet in 30 years?
Oh, it's insane, dude.
It's crazy.
Crazy.
It's not green anymore. NASA actually has been
brown.
It's been proven that NASA actually photoshops the planet to look more green than what it actually is, because they don't want people to get fucking wigged out, which it's too late for that. We already know.
I am woke as fuck on that.
So basically, when you start bringing in this 2012 scenario, you start bringing in the Mandela effect. They kind of play into each other. By the way, just a little background on Nelson Mandela. This is who the effect is named after. Nelson Mandela was a activist in Africa, and it was believed by masses that he had been dead since the 1980s, since any of us were even born. And then out of nowhere in 2013, it made national news that he had died, and everyone was like, "But that fucker was already dead. How is he dead now?" So that's another, that's where the Mandela effect is actually coming from. And then I have a question for both of you and for anyone listening. This question is related to our topic, and it's a geological question. Tyler, I already asked Josh this, so I'm going to ask you first, and then we'll go to Josh. We'll see what his answer is. But to your knowledge, what island is the Statue of Liberty located on?
Isn't it Ellis Island? Isn't that?
Yeah, you would think that, right? You've been told that, you've heard that, right? It actually is not. It is located on Liberty Island, which I have never fucking heard of in my life until I started researching all this. I was always under the impression it was Ellis Island, and this is a very common, very, very, very common geological anomaly that people have actually been to Ellis Island, remembered seeing the Statue of Liberty there. And there's also, and this is questionable, there's been some doctored photos of the Statue of Liberty missing altogether. Obviously is still there, but
sure?
I think so.
Have you seen
it?
I personally have not seen it, but it's a very well documented monument. So I'm pretty confident that it's still standing.
I'm just saying, Jeffrey Epstein died, and
what's that?
Pretty famous.
I haven't seen it on TikTok recently either. So does it even exist?
I mean, if we're gonna put all of our faith in TikTok, then we're doomed. But that is one of the craziest geological ones. And if you have more to add, I would be very happy to hear about them now.
I do, but this one could just be the fact that I am not good at geography.
Well, let's hear it, man. We'll be the judges of that.
Because listen, I've asked 3 people and they've all given me the correct answer, not my answer, the Mandela effect answer. So I'm pretty sure that I'm just dumb.
You're just wrong.
But we'll see.
Public city schools, yeah, they do that too.
Okay. Is South America directly under North America?
Oh, buddy.
Yes.
Joshua?
Very much so. It's right there. We're actually connected to it.
I know we're connected to it, yes, but Joshua, answer the question.
Yes.
It is
Obviously.
offset to the east.
Is that what everyone's told you?
No, everyone has told me it's offset to the east.
Everyone, that's what I'm saying. Is everyone told you it's offset to the east?
Yes, look
Well, then
at
we're
the map.
retarded.
Yeah, we're all equal.
We're all equally bad.
And that,
Now,
children,
so funny.
is public city schools education.
Okay, looking at this map, the leftmost part of South America is basically under Ohio.
What are you looking at, though?
I just Googled world map.
Okay.
Wait, it's off to the east?
Yes.
That does not
So
make
like
sense to me.
the left side of the continent of South America is in the same like upper like I don't know longitudinal area as Ohio.
Wait, this isn't...
It's that far east.
I didn't
Okay, so
see
since we're talking about maps, have you guys seen the map where you can drag other continents into
Yes.
other continents and it shows you their true size?
Yes.
Yeah. So the representation of our world map. Obviously, you're taking a three-dimensional object. Fuck you, flat earthers. And
Got him.
and you're taking a three-dimensional object and you're spreading it out on
On
a
a flat
two-dimensional
plane.
surface. So obviously there's going to be some distortion there. So that one I feel like is like an arguable segment, unless you're actually looking at Google Earth, which is a 3D rendering of the planet. So.
But listen, on this flat rendition of the round map, the longitude line crosses. It looks like it's on the edge of Ecuador, which is a western side, so the left side of the continent, coastal country. The far left of the country, that line passes through Lake Erie.
That is insane.
Wow.
But honestly, I know that I'm just so dumb that I didn't know that. I
That's
know
why I
that
don't-
for a
Yeah.
fact.
Yeah.
Because
Do you have any other ones?
That's the only one I had because
Okay.
once everyone told me I was wrong, I was like, maybe I just shouldn't ask geography questions.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Did you
So-
Google that or did you come up with that on your own?
I actually found it on a podcast. You know that? Okay, I don't know his name. He's like really skinny and really pale. He like does food reviews in his car and he dresses in a suit.
Yes.
That guy. I listened to his episode on the Mandela effect and he brought it up.
That's so funny.
Nice.
You're all wrong.
Yeah.
We're just all highly undereducated. It's
That's
fine.
so funny.
So yeah, that's that's my little bit on the Mandela. We basically have something that most people would consider, there's a few more that I didn't bring up because I don't think they're as relevant, but just for a few just fun ones I can throw in there. Some people remember Curious George having a tail versus him not having a tail. I personally don't remember him having a tail. That's just me.
See, that one I heard that you just associate monkeys with tails. Like, and you think of a
that's
monkey,
fair.
it always has a tail.
That one's probably
Hey, that's actually really great
close.
because that throws me right into what I'm about to talk about.
That's good.
Monkey news?
And
Yeah,
then
monkey tails.
I got one more movie lyric for you guys.
Movie lyric.
It's one we should all know. It's Forrest Gump. So there is life is like a box of chocolates, right?
Yeah.
Everyone knows that fucking line. So apparently, if you go back and watch the movie, it is my mama always said, as my mama always said, life was like, not is like, was like a box of chocolates. That one's kind of like, okay,
it's
well,
kinda, yeah.
people hear what they hear, and like we're talking about a present tense and a past tense word. So there's Oscar Mayer versus Oscar Mayer. I'm not familiar with that one.
Kit Kat, dash or no dash?
Yeah, exactly. J.C. Penney versus J.C. Penney's. I mean, a lot of ignorant people, I should say Kroger's a lot, but it's just Kroger.
Or
And
Myers.
I think as
Meijer.
humans, as people, we naturally, make things plural when they're not. Some people say Walmarts, and that's ignorant as fuck.
That's
Can we
worse
talk
than not
about
knowing where
Walmarts?
just
Can we
South
talk
America
about
is.
the Walmarts real quick?
The Walmarts.
I'm going over to the Walmarts.
That's
Yeah,
so
I'm
funny.
Do you need a
I'm-
ham and or
I'm
tires?
calling you out, Trailer Park Boys. Let's go over to the Walmart because I want a new dress. So, all right, that's my bit, Josh. You take it from here, my friend, with your
Yes,
with your
sir.
segment, sir.
So basically, it's just touching on the other side of what Nick said. So Nick is in line with space or time warp and simulation, and I more go a little ride the line of scientific. I like seeing things, so
Science, bitch.
yeah, science, bitch. You're right. So basically, I have seen some really personal experiences of that, which is crazy, and all it is not all it is, but something that is plays a huge factor in this is called confabulation. And do either of you guys know what confabulation is?
Sounds like a
No,
terrible
sir.
heart condition.
It's no heart condition, but more of a condition of your brain. So this is found in patients, or not even patients, but people who have suffered brain trauma or brain injuries. And it's the actual fabrication of actual facts that you have implemented into your memories. So for an instance, the Berenstein and Berenstain Bears. i in reality, that could all just be the way that you pronounce it, and then you spell it the way that you think that it's spelled using phonics.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Hooked on it.
exactly. So it's those items that are put in there. Now, confabulation is when the brain attempts to fill the gaps in memories with fabricated facts. And unlike lying, this is completely unintentional, not to be
Yes.
devious or deceive anybody, anything like that. Where lying is more gonna be like, hey, yes, I saw that. You know what I mean? So like sometimes I get vibes from some of the Mandela effects are the really popular ones because they just want to follow on the train, but teach their own.
I actually have a really close example of what you're actually discussing right now, and that's with like childhood memories. Okay, so a lot of people have like bits and pieces of their childhood memory. They remember like certain parts, and then like their brain fills in these gaps, and sometimes your brain fills in those gaps with things that actually didn't happen.
Yep.
So I can totally get behind and understand where you're coming from on this one, because I've heard that from people on a first-hand basis.
I think there's a wide range of examples. Like some of them are literally splitting hairs, like you said with Forrest Gump, the past tense, present tense. Other ones kind of fuck me up. Like honestly, the geography thing fucked me up, but we've come to the conclusion that we're just dumb on that one.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I stand by the Ellis Island thing. That still
Yes.
that one fucks me up, because anytime you ask anyone that question, 9 times out of 10, at least in my experience, they're gonna say Ellis Island for
Ellis
the
Island.
Statue of Liberty.
Yeah. So that's just some things that you can bring up, but so confabulation can be found, as I said, in like patients or people who are found with neurological disorders. So strokes, brain injuries, Alzheimer's, epilepsy, schizophrenia, those type of things. And then others can be found in examples of younger, healthier subjects. I would like to consider myself healthy and younger, but there's a lot of these that are really messing with my mind. And it's just that's how a lot of people process items. Now, the big part that actually plays into confabulation is also going to be misinformation. So obtaining information that was given to you, like for an easy example of this is going to be like when a lawyer objects in court based off of a question of leading, right? So they're going to bring something up that says, what were you doing on Main Street at this time? And then in reality, they were actually on 2nd Street. But since they brought up Main, they're going to be like, I was doing this, which means they ultimately agreed to, hey, I was on Main Street.
I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
That's how they actually get confessions out of people.
Exactly. That's how they get confessions, because they confuse them and they twist everything up.
Fuck them with their head. Yeah.
And this is the same thing. Looking back at this, if you can think of just personal experiences, right? So I remember this time we were kids, and I vividly remember going to my grandmother's kitchen, and me and my siblings took out every single liquid item that we found in the fridge and smashed it all over the floor. Okay? Now,
You're a menace to society.
Pure menace. I vividly remember taking a Diet Coke can and smashing it on the corner of my grandmother's chair and spraying the ceiling with it. Okay, as if I was painting her entire kitchen in poo poo brown Diet Dr Pepper or Diet Coke. Okay, that's all I can remember. And in reality, that never happened. The only thing that happened was I dropped the ketchup bottle and it broke on the ground and I didn't clean it up. But because I was told so many times, because the situation all comes back to my dad the night before actually dropped a can, it exploded and went all over the ceiling. But the whole time, my dad throughout my childhood, you always said, "Oh, you remember that time that you sprayed your grandmother's ceiling with the Coke can?" And it was really him. So the misinformation has caused me to believe of, hey, me and my siblings woke up one morning and destroyed my grandmother's kitchen, when in reality it was it was my dad the whole time. But
Damn.
with all that being said though, if you can think of just specific things that happened in your childhood, Tyler, for you, example, okay? What's something that you feel with all of your might that is 100% true, but now that you've grown up and like experienced or heard other stories, what's something that you think falls into that? Something where you're like a little less sure now.
I don't know. I don't. Nick, do you have any so I can have a chance to think?
So you're basically asking if I have a memory that I basically have distorted based on misinformation.
Correct.
Okay.
It's hard to think about because it's hard to put into your own into actual words without it making you seem like you're absolutely crazy.
Yeah, no, it's tough to actually just think of an instance because I mean, if you spent so much time believing one thing and it was actually another, and then you eventually were able to correct that memory, I feel like it's harder to remember the false memory because you've already corrected it in your mind. I can't recall a time where I was so fucking wrong about something that it was caused by misinformation. I think global warming's probably one of them.
Got him.
But we won't discuss that. That's a fucking can of worms I don't want. So yeah, I mean, probably, I could probably relate in a childhood memory.
Okay, what about being told things that you did as a kid, and because you were told them so many times that you now remember them, like an actual memory?
All right, I got one now. So when I was 3 years old, this is probably one of my earliest memories. And I mean, you can imagine as a 3-year-old, people can tell you stories about when you were 3, and you basically almost have no choice but to believe them.
Exactly.
But in this case, I have fragmented memories of this. So I was home. Obviously, I wasn't in school yet or anything. I was home and my dad got home from work. My mom was busy doing something, probably making dinner, if I had to guess. And I was not feeling well. I remember I had a stomach ache and I was sitting on the toilet and, I was taking my poo-poo. And then I got violently ill, like projectile exorcist vomit. And my dad runs into the bathroom to check on me, and then I continue to projectile vomit onto him. I personally remember him screaming like a girl and running out of the bathroom yelling for my mom's help and he just left me there.
That's
like
awesome.
alone, covered in vomit,
Yes.
shitting my fucking brains out on the toilet. Like as a 3-year-old, I that's the only thing I can remember is my father just left me here completely exposed and covered in my own filth, and he's running away screaming. And my mom's recount of that is pretty close to mine, but my dad says no, I may have screamed or, in shock because I was literally just projectile vomited on, but I called for your mother and she came in to the bathroom and then I left.
That's funny.
But that's
Yeah,
not
see,
how I remember that.
yeah,
You know?
but that is such a good example though, because in reality, if that situation was ever brought up as a thought or anything like that, and your mom agreed, that information, you're gonna take your mom's word because it wasn't your dad being embarrassed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
So
Yeah. I mean, he's got to defend himself a little bit on
exactly,
that.
it
So.
all plays into the fact of what we want. So for me,
Yes.
when I think about this, and when we were researching this, because I mean, let's be honest, I procrastinated until before we started this call. So I mean, this is so fresh in my mind that I can't stop thinking about it. But like, this makes so much sense, because if you were told this over and over again, or if it involves somebody else, you're going to believe the person that told you, because that
Yeah.
other person, because the person or the main subject of the story is going to have some type of, maybe not guilt, but more embarrassment. And
Yeah.
if you were that person,
You
yeah,
change the memory to fit a better outlook for yourself. And I feel like that's just natural defense
yeah,
working its magic. You know, people always, if you have a bad story to tell, you're not going to tell it to the fullest truth, more than likely, just to make yourself seem less fucking retarded. And speaking of retarded, baby Tyler, you got anything for us yet?
This whole anecdote, that's funny. This whole anecdote has reminded me I have a solid 10 memories of my childhood. None of them apply here, so I've just been kind of thinking about that.
How about the most recent election? Do you feel like no?
Big
Do you feel like
pass.
Do you feel like you were misled?
Misled. I mean, I was fed a lot of misinformation throughout my childhood, so I'm gonna go ahead and just say yes. Is all applicable?
Oh,
No, I agree with the idea that if you're told a memory with some kind of preconceived notion, it's going to lead your train of thought in that direction, in any sense of
Well,
that, whether it's
let's talk about trauma for a second, because without getting too personal, my wife had childhood trauma, and based on what some of the therapy she's been in and out of her life, her therapist, and this plays into what we're talking about, obviously, but her therapist has explained it to her that when our brains are that young, we're very vulnerable mentally, and when something very traumatic happens to you as a child, your brain really doesn't know how to handle or process what's happening. So your own consciousness basically creates a memory that is meant to help comfort you and make it either go away, just like, okay, I'm gonna completely go ahead and just forget that ever fucking happened to me, or it
Carmen.
takes the or it
Carmen.
takes the or it takes the the scenario and molds it into something that's a little more swallowable.
yeah.
something you can deal with.
And then as an adult,
What is that
and
word?
you're talking about it with a therapist or whoever, whoever's there to listen to you, usually the truth comes out, and you actually remember, you're like, fuck, that's actually how it happened.
I've had a lot of moments similar to that, but it's more of a realization of that. Oh, that's not normal, because like you'll be like, yeah, remember when like this would happen, and whoever you're talking to is just like, what? No, that didn't happen to me,
Well,
and
see,
that was not supposed to happen to you.
That happened to my wife with her parents a few years back. She was recounting a memory, and they were like, "Sweetie, we love you, but that did not happen that way."
Sounds like gaslighting. Is what that sounds like.
Well, it wasn't anything inappropriate. It was just a memory that stuck with her, and they're just like, "Sweetie, that's not how that happened."
Yeah.
And she's just like, "Are you fucking sure?" Because and you got both parents, unless both parents were colluding for the last 20 fucking years,
Right.
like, okay, when she brings this up this one day, we're gonna fucking tell her this, all right? Trust me, these people aren't smart enough for that. So yeah, I get where we're at right now, for sure. I dig it.
Yeah, man, memory is funny. Memory
is pretty funny.
It is funny.
I mean, we know scarily little about our own fucking brains.
See,
so.
That's what I kind of fall into sometimes, the thought process of like, there's so much of your life that has happened that you just don't remember. You don't remember, a lot of moments throughout your everyday, especially in those times where every day is the same. Yeah. And it's like it happened, but like, what did you forget? How do you don't know? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, even like the three of us, we have talked and spent so much time together. There's probably hundreds of conversations that we have had that none of us can recollect. So did they ever happen?
Nope. Unless it's in Facebook Messenger and we can pull it out like the fucking Holy Bible and be like, Luke number 12, you said this, motherfucker. Yeah. Unless we have documented proof, there's probably no chance of us remembering.
Well, I mean, apparently the government is keeping track of all those party chats we've been in.
Yeah.
Have all the audio logs somewhere.
Yeah, that's cool. They also keep trying to advertise me purple mattresses, so
It's insane, man.
I talked about it once. I didn't even Google it.
I didn't even talk about it. I just saw it.
You just, and you know what? It's a setting in your Facebook app. I found this out a couple years ago that
the personalized ads.
They can leave the microphone on in the background, and they look for trigger words if you're talking about a product of some sort. Don't be fucking surprised when you open up your Facebook the next day and you've got an ad sitting there.
Daddy Zuckerberg.
I have the best story for this, right?
Yes, let's hear it.
So, a little side note about me. I teach high school drumline on the side, right? So 2 years ago, I was at a game, and a previous student, he had graduated the year before, came and say hi. We were talking. The kid was working in construction and remodeling. He was telling me all about it. And it's he's an 18-year-old kid. So he's telling me, he's like, yeah, man, I just did this house for this doctor, and they had me put an enema in their shower. And he's like laughing about it and giggling because he's a child, And he's like, ha, ha, ha. And I'm like, yeah, that's funny, blah, blah, blah. And then while he's still talking to me, I open up my phone and open up Facebook, and there's like a big old Wish ad for a bunch of shower enemas.
That's awesome.
And I was like, look at this shit. I was like, I have never even heard of a shower enema.
You see what this motherfucker did to my phone? I would be assaulted. I'd claim assault on that one.
That's so funny.
They're always listening, and we're just like, ha ha ha. They're always listening. No, but they are.
Ha ha ha, this isn't real.
I mean, we're voluntarily recording conversations right now.
Oh, right. I mean, you're right.
We must be mentally ill to some capacity.
Okay. I have a couple trendy things for us to do. You guys want to talk about some posts from over on r/Am I the Asshole?
I would love to do that.
I think I have two pretty good ones. They're not terribly long. So we'll dive in and then we'll talk about it. The first one is, am I the asshole for telling a cashier that the girl in front of me wasn't using her credit card? Okay. Obviously, I mean, just hold. I'm going to go and paraphrase this one, right? This girl was in line at a department store. Said it rhymes with looming tails. I don't know what that is. Bloomingdale's, maybe? I think I've heard of that.
That's what I thought of too, Bloomingdale's, but it's Chippendales, not a strip club.
Anyway, so they're in line, and she hears these two teenage girls in front of her talking about how, expensive the stuff they're buying is, and the girl's like, oh, it's fine, I'm not paying. My dad is. So she gets up there, and the lady notices like that she pulls this credit card out, and my apologies. She pulls her credit card out, and she tells the cashier, she's like, that's not her card. And the girl's like, mind your own business. And the lady's like, no, I heard you say that's not your card. And the girl's like, it's my dad's card. And the cashier goes, well, if it's not your card, I can't let you use it. And the girl pulls out her ID, and she's like, look, we have the same last name. This is my dad. And the cashier is like, nope, sorry, I can't do it. So then the cashier, apparently their store policy is they confiscate the credit card.
Oof.
And they don't destroy it. They confiscate it and, call the owner or whatever, call the bank and call the owner or whatever they do.
Yeah.
So the girls, kind of storm off crying because they're upset about this interaction. And this lady, is just all proud of herself. And the girl like goes to her and she's like, my dad lets me use his credit card. Why would you do that? And the lady says, well, you shouldn't use somebody else's credit card. And like that's like the end of it. And I just feel like I feel like this lady is the asshole.
This
I
lady
feel
is
like
the asshole.
she just inserted herself into the situation, and you don't know the scenario. Yes, that girl could have taken her father's credit card, or maybe her dad just gave it to her, like plenty of people do.
Plenty of people.
So many people. It's like, I mean, my grandfather did the same thing for me when we were in high school. How
My
many dinners did he buy us?
Too many.
Too
My
many
grandmother
dinners.
gave me her credit card. Like, I think that's why I feel so strongly about that lady being the asshole. Because
You don't know.
what, Nick? What?
Shut up.
I gotta play the other side of the coin.
No.
Since you're hold on. Hear me out. As a seasoned veteran of the horrors of the retail industry, we'll just start there. You are in a vulnerable position as an employee when it comes. If you're going to be the guy who's IDing people for credit cards, A, most people don't do that now. But B, is you're potentially putting your job on the line because let's say she did steal her dad's credit card and it says check ID on the back. If it says check ID on the back, technically a cashier has to check the ID and reference that. Most of them don't. I guess nowadays with COVID, no one's touching your fucking credit card. You're sliding it into that chip machine.
I don't remember giving anybody my credit card unless it's like through a
Exactly,
drive-thru.
that's what I'm saying. The whole, check ID thing's a very old school method because now with the, the chip enablement shit, they don't even look. You just slide it in the machine and you either hit, continue for credit, or if you know the PIN card, you put in the PIN number, right? But let's say she did steal the dad's credit card and that, she charged X amount of money and then the dad, gets the credit card bill. He could be the asshole dad that says, why didn't you check the ID? I'm going to sue you now. You know what I mean? Like it's probably one of those situations where it's not going to go that far, obviously. Right. But as an individual, like when you're young and you're working in an establishment, it's your job to do your job. I mean, you're not gonna, purposely fucking suck unless you're that guy or girl. But I can see how she is also the asshole because it's like mind your own fucking business. So
right, I feel like that's like your scenario applies to the cashier, not to some stranger.
Well, that's why I said I'm gonna play the other side of the coin. Now that woman interjecting herself into this situation. I mean, the cashier already took fucking care of the situation, right? I mean,
but
right.
So what? I mean, I don't know.
I don't.
It's the lady, the one who pointed out that that's not her credit card.
Yes, it was the lady behind her in line that.
So the cashier didn't even notice.
No, she probably was
she's a fucking narc. Yeah.
So okay, but let's think about this, right? If the girls weren't underage, do you think it would have been the same thing?
I mean, I don't know.
I feel like that lady's just probably a Karen, and it doesn't matter who you are.
I mean, it sounds like a Karen thing to do.
Karen alert. That's pretty funny. I cannot get behind that lady being a good Samaritan. I had my grandmother's credit card for almost 2 years, and not one single time did anybody ever card me.
I got carded once, and it was in a Spencer's Gifts. That's the only time anyone ever stopped me. I wasn't buying sex toys either. I think I was buying like a T-shirt or something.
You're up to no fucking good.
No good in Spencer's.
I mean, I get if 16-year-old me walks up with like a dildo, they're like, hold on.
You were probably trying to buy a Jack Skeleton beanie.
Oh, probably.
Skeleton. That's
man.
So funny. What's the next one?
I have this one. This one plays into. I think Nick will really have a strong opinion on this one. I hope he does.
I hope I do too.
I'll read this one all the way through. It's not terribly long. It says, would I be the asshole for refusing to stop cooking bacon in my kitchen due to my teenage daughter's vegan lifestyle?
Yes.
It says, Dad here, old fart, loves his daughter to pieces, but I'm struggling to see eye to eye with my teenager and wife on this one. We've always been a meat-eating family. We live in a rural Midwest. We live in the rural Midwest, and bacon for breakfast is pretty much a given. This is my 14-year-old daughter decided to go vegan. I jumped onto her support team with enthusiasm. We learned how to substitute ingredients, cook new things, try new things. I adjusted our budget to include more expensive vegan substitutes for her, etc. None of this has been a problem for me until recently. She saw me cook bacon in a pan, then I rinsed it out to load the dishwasher, and she exploded in anger. Teen years, I'm not too fussed about the anger explosion. I know she doesn't mean it. And he said that was her pan for vegan food. I was completely floored and said, kiddo, this here is a pan older than you. It's our pan. She asked me to purchase her pans that she can solely use for vegan food. I didn't want her to feel weird about food, so I said, sure. I ordered her a few colored ones that are only for her. The reason they're colored is so it helps me remember that I'm not to touch them unless I'm cooking vegan. That wasn't enough. Now, apparently the dishwasher is contaminated with animal products. The fridge has bacon grease fingers on it because I eat bacon and then touch the fridge. She asked me and her mom to completely stop eating meat at home. I don't mean I literally touch the fridge with greasy bacon hands because I wash my hands, but it's clearly enough that upsets my daughter. Frankly, I'm on team hell no. Her mom is much more amenable and strongly wants to consider taking our daughter up on the request. My wife's reasoning is that both our parents live close so we can get meat products there. And she says she doesn't want our daughter to feel uncomfortable in the kitchen. My daughter says she is fine with cheese and butter in the fridge, but it's specifically meat products that make her feel sick. Now, I'm sorry for her, but I feel like she just needs to adapt and live side by side because I'm not going to stop eating bacon in my own home.
Okay. So is the dad the asshole?
Please.
Is he the asshole for this? Is that what we're asking?
He's asking if he's the asshole, yes.
Yeah, okay. No, he's not. He's being a motherfucking dad. I'm sorry. It already sounds like he's gone above and beyond for
100%.
this teenage daughter. Buying
100%.
her, adjusting his budget for her, getting her own, pans and dishes. I'm sorry if you had to touch the fucking fridge with a little bit of grease on it. I mean, it's called a paper towel and Lysol. Like,
yeah, I would say
this sounds like spoiled brat syndrome to the fucking max.
Like,
Daddy didn't buy me a pony.
He's done a lot to accommodate.
Yeah.
Like, even buying her own pans and such.
That's what I'm saying. This dude has invested more money than probably most parents would supporting their children in a decision like this. And we're not talking about a child who's like having a self-identity crisis or is, coming out of the closet or, having, some sort of, quarter life crisis here. We're talking about a kid who decided she doesn't want to eat meat or cheese or anything that's a byproduct of an animal. And her parents are fully accepting of that and have made the necessary, changes in their lives to accommodate that for her. But her parents are her parents and they shouldn't have to fucking change their life just because she wants to.
That's the biggest thing for me. That really is the biggest thing for me. How are you going to expect them to change their life because you made a decision that you no longer want to consume animal byproducts?
One that they support, mind you.
Yeah.
So all you woke fucks can fuck off.
Fuck right off.
Go
ahead. No, go ahead. Tell me what you think.
As the woke progressive parent here, I think he did good. I think that's everything I would do for my kid. Just out of the box, I would get her own pans and stuff to, cross contamination, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But like, that's where it stops, in my opinion. If you're worried about the dishwasher, hand wash your pans and don't store them. If the fridge is absolutely a deal breaker, go ahead and get yourself a little mini fridge and store your whatever you need in there. And then,
how old is she?
14. So I guess she could
can work at Kroger as a bagger.
Most sites, yeah.
We've already got a job ready for her.
Yeah, sounds like you can go work for your own fucking pans now. So
yeah.
But no, in that situation, that 10 out of 10, dad's in the right. So.
Yeah, I just something about the requirement of her basically making two other people change their life because she made a decision. Like that's
it's a child giving you an ultimatum.
That's a God complex.
Yeah.
That's a God complex there. because
Mm-hmm.
that is so like they've done everything so far, and now it's saying, okay, my decision now affects everybody else. This is how this has to work now. That's like her going to a restaurant that serves vegan items, but uh, and then like now because it serves vegan items, it can only be vegan. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It-
Yeah.
Right. I mean, yeah, because I mean, you'd be lucky to get a pan switch at a restaurant, and ideally you would. But I'm saying you're going
yeah.
for lunch or dinner, you're in a rush, you're lucky to get a pan switch.
And that's if they didn't lick the pan just because you asked them to.
Exactly.
You like that?
That's
so
really
funny.
yeah. So you guys want to move into our little final segment now?
Yes.
So what we're thinking is every week we're gonna do some sort of trivia, or maybe like I don't know how to describe it, like a thought game, like asking the guys to make up a new color and describe it, right? So each week whoever's asking the question will judge, and we'll rotate, and then we'll keep tally of who
Is the
has the
color
most
one
total
a
wins.
question today? Because that I'm thinking hard.
No, I wasn't going to go. I saw that
Okay.
you had some in your notes. I figured we could just run with those.
Okay.
I do have a bit of a thought. One, if you want to do that, I like the whole. I was thinking, describe an animal. Make up a new animal and describe it.
Yeah, I think we should save that one for when we have a little bit more time.
Alrighty, yeah.
That way,
Do you?
that way we can get everything, kind of go a little more in depth on it and ask for better descriptions.
Sounds good. Do you want to judge first?
Yeah, so I'll judge first. I got a few trivia questions for you guys. There's 5. So this week I'll do the questions and we'll get your guys' answers and we'll make sure we post the winner on our Facebook page. So, all right, how many counties does the state of Ohio have? And get off your phone because I see you, little fucker.
Okay, hold on.
I'm just looking at the notes. I promise I'm not
I
going
have,
to cheat.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Are we going to? Is it just whoever answers first? Are we Jeopardy? Are we doing Jeopardy here, or is it going to be Nick and answer this question? If you don't get it, Tyler gets a chance at it. If Tyler
Let's do
doesn't
that.
get it. We
Yeah.
don't. Yeah. Okay.
Let's do that.
All right.
Nick, you go first.
Okay. Well, there's 88.
Okay. Well, Tyler, did you know that?
I was going to say 75.
Damn it. Publicly shame.
All right. One point for me, Tyler. Now it's Tyler's turn.
Okay, copy. All right, great.
Oh.
Tyler, what is the measurement of sound?
What the fuck? What the fuck kind of difficulty increase?
I love this. I know the answer to this too.
I know you
Is the
do.
measure? Is it decibels?
It is.
Fuck ass.
Good job.
Yes.
That's so funny. Okay.
He's got
Uh,
Google search up right now.
Yeah, I know. He's cheating. He's looking at his phone. Okay. I can see him.
Real convenient. Put the phone
You
down
can see
for
me.
me.
I can see you in the text. Okay. Nick, how many sides does a stop sign have? Off the top of your head, go.
8.
8, yeah.
Sorry,
gonna
I'm
say
counting.
8.
Sorry.
That's okay, because, I was reading that, I was like, oh, 6. Oh, wait, no, not 6.
No, it's an octagon. Yeah, for sure.
16.
All right. So I'm sorry. Another question. That's the first time we're doing this. What's the winning score here? Because I got 2. Tyler's got 1. What's the winning score? You got
Yeah.
5 questions.
We're going to answer all 5 and
Okay.
see who gets
so
it.
whoever gets most.
Yeah.
Got it.
Mhm.
All right.
Okay, number 4. This is for Tyler, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, what's one mammal that lays eggs?
Is it the platypus?
It is the platypus. Good job. You didn't know decibels?
Perry the platypus.
He knows his animals.
Yeah, right. Okay, Nick, in the succession of planets, what position is Earth?
We have to
3rd.
acknowledge that we're tied up right now.
Yeah. Well, I just got my 3rd point. So
I'm proud of you. Okay, and
I
tiebreak.
win automatically, actually,
No. Oh, yeah, you're so right.
because I got 3 out of 5. So
Proud of
I
you,
win.
Nick. Third,
Yeah.
third, you're right. That
Uh,
was I did not know that. For some reason, I thought it was 8, and that is fucked.
It's all good.
It was rigged from the start.
I'll
It
take
was.
the trophy on this one. Thank you.
It was rigged from the start.
Woo!
Yeah. I
That's
didn't have my phone in my hand the whole time either. So.
true. Cheater.
Okay, I
Alright,
feel like I'm being singled out.
All right, so I will be the trivia champ for the week. Do we want to touch on Devious Lick, or we can spend 10 minutes on that?
I really do. I really do want to
Yeah,
talk about it while
I
it's
know
still
you do.
somewhat relevant. Is
Revenant.
that right?
Relevance.
Relevant. Okay.
The Revenant.
So, if you haven't heard yet, if you're not privy to the TikTok trends, the devious slick trend is high school and mostly high school, but some university, college students are seeing, what they can steal from their school. Most commonly is like soap dispensers and things like that. But it's always gone up to, I've seen, it's TikTok, so take it with a grain of salt. I've seen someone claim to steal a whiteboard or a smart board, which are upwards of $4,000. I've seen someone say they stole the car. And one I saw that I think is the most outrageous is you could see someone using the bathroom in a stall, and it looked like an admin because they had a bunch of keys and a radio and shit all, on their belt. This kid reached under the stall and yanked this man's shoe off and ran out of the bathroom with it. Like that was his lick, was stealing an admin's shoe.
So I've seen that with pants.
That's
They
awesome.
just straight
I
up
saw the
jack their
pants one too. Yeah.
So
And, I just want to point out, this is me sounding like the boomer. These kids are fucking bad. Okay,
Bad.
I know. I knew these kids were bad. I had a
happened to good old Tide Pod days,
seventh grade math teacher, right? And he retired 2 years after I had him. And he's like, these kids coming up, they're bad. He's like, they're little shitheads. That's why I'm retiring, because these kids fucking suck.
Yeah.
Right? And now look what these kids are doing.
Yeah.
doing.
So I think we're all going to kind of take the boomer stance on this because this infuriates me.
Fuck these kids.
Like, how disrespectful is that?
Okay, now stop.
No,
okay, hold on.
You
on.
bootlicker.
No.
Okay, hold on. Let's actually talk about something that matters here, and that's the fucking tax-paying dollar that is going to have to be used to replace and fix all of these issues.
That's the boomer stance.
Okay, so if any of you pay taxes, you're essentially paying. You're already paying for these kids to be fucking shitheads, and you're gonna, your tax dollars are already being used to replace all this shit. And then B, schools are already starting to press charges, and you can't press charges on the kid because they're minors, right? So guess who's footing the fucking bill on that?
Parents.
Mommy and daddy.
Listen, I saw one where this principal was offering, it was like some kid recording their announcements in the morning. This principal was offering a $500 reward for anyone who could show him the video of someone ripping the sink out of the bathroom and taking it.
I would do it. I would totally tell.
I would look, high school me, I'm snitching for $500.
Yeah. You're talking real money at high school levels there.
That's worth getting my ass beat.
That's a PS5.
Exactly. You know how many Chipotle burritos I could buy with $500? Six. Six burritos.
Yes.
What do you got, Josh, on the disrespect side?
That was just, I can't understand that. Just like
I saw a good TikTok of a teacher who actually recorded people screaming over the intercom, like the principal got on the intercom and was like literally screaming. It was hilarious.
I want to point out that Josh is saying that it's disrespectful to take a soap dispenser, but Josh ran through the hallways of my school and fired a handgun with blanks in it. Okay. That sounds pretty fucking disrespectful.
No, okay.
I think that's breaching felony.
It was all in good fun. I was teaching the kids how to run. Okay? So relax.
Here's a school. Josh was the certified school shooter in the drill.
Josh, did the other kids have pumped up kicks?
They didn't make it. I can let you know. I can just let you know that now they did not make it.
Did they outrun your blank bullets?
You know what a 38 special snub nose sounds like in a school hallway? Because I sure do.
I saw The Godfather. I know exactly.
I'll be straight up. I have a 38 snub. It's loud outside. It is like incredibly loud outside.
It's because the barrel's so fucking short.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I stood in the atrium of Harding, and literally fired.
Okay, let me lay this. Okay, so this high school is set up like a prison. It's a square, with large brick walls, right? Their main hallway is the entire height of the school, the first and second floor, and it's lined with a balcony hallway on one side. So it is like auditorium level echo. Like
it was so bad. It rang throughout the entire building. It was absolutely insane. But nonetheless, okay, No damage was done to the property. Okay, let's get back to that. But on
No
the
one lost a child.
on the same side, I never destroyed school property. I was never one to
I
write on the walls. I was never one to cut, carve my name into the stalls or anything. I was never into that. And for these people to be like ripping sanitary items out of the bathroom, it blows my mind.
During a
Okay.
pandemic, mind you.
I'm really gonna out myself here. Property damage like that does not bother me one bit. It does not. I think it is pretty funny. I do get the tax portions because that's my problem. But the fact, like, high school is such an oppressive place, and the fact that these kids are literally ripping it apart, I love. I love every bit of it.
I'm gonna have to admit that I'm gonna have to omit a little bit of truth here. Unless you own or are actively paying property tax, I mean, technically it's not your tax dollar. Because at least in Ohio, our property taxes are what pay for school shit.
Well, I'm too poor to have to pay property tax.
And obviously, but
Wish
on
I
the
was
flip
poor.
side, if you're renting, your property tax is probably calculated into your rent. So it all trickles down.
So
Shit
just
rolls
remember,
downhill regardless of your situation.
when you're complaining about that rent payment going up to $1,300,
That's because your property taxes went up.
that's because your little fucking bebe kids be ripping out the sink. Okay? Yeah. So you get those little bebe child and you punish them for that $500 sink that they ripped out of that fucking wall. And then we'll talk. All right? Because of you, I had to pay more for a rental than I do for purchasing a house. So eat my balls, and that's all I have to say. Good night.
Listen, kids, don't listen to these two boomers. Tear your school apart, brick from brick. Endorsed by me.
Oh man.
On the record.
Oh man.
I'm gonna get canceled for inciting violence on episode 1.
Episode 1, inciting violence, canceled.
Thank you. Please.
There's our title.
Please make sure you smash all windows. Any window that is still intact, you lose. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, but make sure you be nice to the janitors. They don't deserve it.
No.
Those are the fuckers that are cleaning shit up.
At the end of the day, these are the real victims.
Like, hey, Scruffy, you want to call off tomorrow? Okay.
Scruffy.
Give him one of those.
And let's get away from that word janitor. Okay.
Custodian. A custodial professional.
Let's go with custodians because that is their actual job title. Janitor is like something you do when you mop floors in a factory.
What is
me? I'm a janitor.
Do? Yeah.
Everything else.
I've seen the same man who was putting new lights in the ceiling, mopped floors. So what is he doing?
What do you mean?
Is he?
He's obviously a facilities technician.
Oh, gotcha.
One more anecdote. Our janitors fucking hated the kids right off the bat. Right off the bat, whether you had any kind of interaction with him or not, like, they fucking hated you, and they should have. They were every right in the world.
Fucking heathens.
Alrighty. Are we all good? Now we discovered how to start a podcast, but how do you end a podcast?
That's all, folks.
We dug. Would you guys say we dug in? I would say we dug in.
We are TJ and N, and I think we dug in tonight.
Okay.
Hopefully this is enough for people to say, hey, let's see what they do next time. If not, I mean, I guess we just keep going until people start thinking that.
Check out
I personally have had a phenomenal time with you two this evening. If I am mistaken, please correct me, but I think we're going to transition to Call of Duty now.
Yes,
at least the plan. That's what we do. Games. So when we don't do this, that's what we do. That's all I'm saying. So
make sure you check out our socials, our Facebook, the TJ and N Show podcast. By the time this episode's released, our TikTok should be up with a few clips. The TJ and N Show.
TikTok.
That's all we're running with right now. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in.
Thanks so much, guys.
Thanks, guys. You've been great.